welcome to Host of Cre8ive Con 2026. I have with us one of our guest panellists. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name's Darren Jeffries. I'm an actor and I'm the founder of my studio, Jeff. We produce digital, TV and film for brands that want to get into the entertainment space. Okay. And I've also started an initiative through the company called ForgeNorth, which is all about regional storytelling and career pathways.
Okay. So it's quite sort of a big diverse profile. So I'm guessing you started with acting and then developed further.
That's right, yeah. My first sort of step into the industry was acting when I was 15 years old. Okay. I was really fortunate. I loved acting from a really young age. There was a summer school, drama school, I think for like 4 weeks in my hometown of Warrington that my mum spotted in the local paper. Went along to that. At the end of the summer school, we did a performance in Parr Hall, which is the local sort of entertainment space. Yeah. It's gorgeous old theatre. Yeah. They have some brilliant events on there, but there was just us on this huge stage doing a little showcase, mainly for our parents. It was just to show the work that we'd done. But there happened to be an acting agent in the audience. I'm still not sure to this day how she got there, who invited her. But she approached my dad after the showcase and offered me a place on her books. Yeah. And I'm not sure how long it took for me to get my first audition, but my first audition was for Hollyoaks. Yeah. So I was 15 years old, auditioned for Hollyoaks. I think there were like maybe 2 recalls, maybe 3. Yeah. Got the part. Yeah. And then suddenly, I was on the show for another 10 years. Yeah. So that was my first kind of, my first experience of the industry, and obviously very aware of how sort of rare that can be. Yeah. How fortunate I was to be doing something like that at such a young age as well, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved the show.
It's like the fairy tale story that everyone sort of hopes for themselves when they're dreaming big.
Yeah, almost kind of too easy in a way, you know, because it's not how it goes for a lot of people. But do you know what? I've got to say, I was always really aware of how fortunate I was because I didn't come from a place where those kind of things happened, you know. Yeah. Just a normal sort of Warrington lad. Warrington's very normal town. Yeah. A lot more opportunities now than there were then. Yeah. But at the time, wasn't surrounded by anybody in the industry, so had no experience of it in that regard. So it was a little bit of a bolt from the blue, as it were. Yeah. But again, it goes back to this event and why these kind of experiences in these rooms are so important to make people aware that these opportunities can exist, and just maybe like a bit of a sort of roadmap through to getting where you need to be. Yeah.
Roadmap's definitely something that's been mentioned a few times in this room through different voices that have been sat on this sofa. A lot of it's been you guys on the panel have made it real. You know, like that. There's this perception that there's this dream and it can't be achieved, and then you guys have basically demonstrated, well, actually, this can be real. And there's always going to be that life pathway, and it's never not necessarily going to be easy, but there's always going to be that journey. And you know, it can be done, and you guys are evidence of that. So credit to you there. So you had everyone hanging on every word.
Oh, well, that's good. I think it is really important, and I totally understand the mindset where you want to work in film, you go into the cinema, you're seeing these huge films on the big screen, you're seeing all these articles about the glamour of it, and it's in these places that you might not necessarily have access to, but actually, when you boil it down, there are steps you can take to get to where you need to be, and the same goes for any career, I suppose. But in the creative industry, sometimes that path isn't as clear, and I think if you meet people that have walked down that path, that can offer advice, and as you mentioned, a bit of a roadmap in how to go about it, then it is possible with a hell of a lot of hard work as well.
And sometimes luck, and quite often it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so that's why as well networking is so important. And you know, creatives were quite terrible for isolating ourselves and locking ourselves away, and it's, you know, great to kind of combine everybody and pull them all together.
Yeah, you've got to kind of shift your mindset a little bit. I haven't always loved the networking, the industry side of it. I've become very accustomed to it over time. It's not something that I just kind of understood and felt comfortable with straight away. That's taken work in itself for me. But I think when it comes to networking, I think it's how you frame it. So you mentioned luck. I think networking is creating your own luck.
Yeah.
Because luck essentially is, I don't even know what there's an equation essentially. I don't know what it is exactly. I wish I did, because it's a really strong one. But it's something to do, something along the lines of visibility times effort equals luck. I think it's about being in spaces as much as you can and letting people see and hear what you do. I think it's about connecting with people, and those kind of opportunities tend to compound and grow the more that you do it. And it's great these days that creatives and emerging creatives and young people have phones and the internet and laptops in order to get work done, but there's only so much work you can do from those screens. You do have to, it's almost like you're evidencing your commitment to what you want to do as well, and trust is a huge part of it. If somebody were to send me a DM asking if they could work on a short film that I'm doing, for example, that can be effective. If I were to meet somebody in an event who I've spoken to for 15 minutes, and then they suggest that, that's more meaningful.
There's a lot with psychology and how humans are designed to connect with each other. There's a lot to be said with being in person and having that face to face rather than literally one line on social media, or like, as I should say, like a DM. So
yeah, and that side of things is important too, and it is effective, but it's not the only route, and it certainly isn't it certainly isn't a route that somebody should just solely stick to. I think that's just one part of a much bigger sort of way of going about things and ways of approaching people. And I think I was chatting to one of the other panel members about this, how sometimes if I am working on a project and I put it on social media, and I might do a shout out for local creatives and things like that, because I'm really about that. But once I get the DM, the next thing I ask for, I provide my email or an email and ask for a CV or a website, and I say that the CV doesn't have to have a ton of credits on it.
No.
It just signals your interests, your skill set, all that kind of stuff. And it does amaze me how few people follow on from that side of it. So it's almost like if the DM doesn't solve it, they're not willing to go further than that, whereas actually the DM's just like the first point of contact. And I think if you were to receive a CV, and it doesn't need to be a full CV, but just the fact that someone's gone to the trouble of putting together a CV tells you so much about that person.
Yeah. And also the timely manner that it's sent. Well, that's what I always sort of think, is how quick did this go through? Yeah, but what would you say, like, so from like after acting and setting up your own companies, what would you say has been the biggest challenge?
Ooh, that's a really good question. The biggest challenge for me has been, do you know what? I think it's about valuing what I do more and being more confident speaking about it. And for example, I've mentioned social media. I do a lot more on that now than I used to. I used to have the mindset and the thought that the work speaks for itself, and it does to a certain degree, but I've kind of sort of stepped out from behind the work a little bit more and kind of decided to sort of show myself that a little bit more than I'm used to. And I wasn't comfortable doing it at first, but I'm getting more and more comfortable doing it. So for example, if you'd have told me a year ago that I would be doing videos, talking to camera and putting them on social media, I'd have said no way. Now I'm doing it and I'm seeing the benefit of it, not just in terms of letting people know what I do more, and obviously opportunities coming from that, but also just personally feeling more confident, articulating what I do and talking about what my passions are and what I care about and what I love. And I think that's informing my work sort of in a sort of roundabout way. So I think maybe just kind of being a bit more bold and a bit more front-footed in terms of saying what I do and how I do it and what I enjoy and all those kind of things.
Yeah. Having a go. So, self-efficacy, being like confidence in your own capabilities, it's developed and grown through mastery. So you've got to actually practice these things in order to get better at them. So,
absolutely, yeah. And I think, do you know what? I don't want to speak for the entire creative industry, but I think a lot of creative people who are incredibly talented and that I know don't like shouting about what they do.
No.
It's this weird kind of modesty that perhaps doesn't work in their favour sometimes. And I think actually, and I totally get that it does feel a bit cringe shouting about what you do and telling people, and you feel like nobody wants to hear this, no one cares, whereas actually that's not true. And I think once you kind of get over that, I think somebody caught the buzzword at the minute is cringe mountain. Once you've climbed cringe mountain, once you've climbed cringe mountain and you kind of get over yourself and get out your own way and realise that actually nobody really cares. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of confidence and a lot of benefits that can come from that. I think more creatives should shout about what they do more. There's a hell of a lot of people that aren't talented that are doing it. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you've got something to offer, shout about it, put it out there. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Is there any final messages, final thoughts that you've got for today?
Just that I've been watching from afar, but being here in Wrexham today, seeing what's going on, feeling the buzz, speaking to creative people in Wrexham, seeing the inroads that are being made and the relationships that are being built, just based off the back of this event, I think is amazing and is just the best way to go about it. Getting people in a room, getting them talking, getting them sharing, collaborating, sharing ideas. Yeah, really positive. So fair play to Wrexham, you're smashing it.
Well, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for all your help out there, talking with everybody, because everyone's been singing your praises and sort of saying what a brilliant event it's been. So thank you from me. Thank you for talking with me, and I wish you safe travels home. So
thank you. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thank you.